Hello again, this is Dave with OC Astronomy. When we first set up the Celestron telescope that you see behind me, we had a couple of issues. The first big thing was that the declination motor was not working at all. Whenever I first set it up and plugged it in, the declination motor didn't move, it didn't respond to the hand pad, it didn't respond to computer control. I tried everything to get it to wake up. The Celestron customer service rep that I called said to try updating the firmware. Did that, no luck. I tried updating the motor firmware, no luck. I tried doing whatever I could that they said to do, and the motor just wasn't responding. On the hand pad, it was just reading plus 90 degrees and stayed there. No matter if I manually moved the declination thing, the sensor was reading 90 degrees the whole time. So what I had to do was box it up, and the important thing was I had to box up every piece that came with the mount. That meant all the correct thumb screws that went with the adjustments, the counterweight shaft, and all the little tidbits, and had to make sure not to send back the things that were in the other boxes. For the tripod, for instance, there were some, the little tray underneath. I had to remember, did that come in one tripod box or did it come in the box with the mount? So I had to just send back the things that were in the mount. Luckily, I guessed right and sent back only the things that were in that box. And what happened was, I'm in Oklahoma, so I had to send it back, and it took about a week for UPS ground to get there, and then they had to verify that what I sent them were the things that were in the right box. Once they did that, they had a mount that was sent to their quality assurance people. They opened the box, made sure it worked, and then they boxed it and sent it back to me. So in all, it took about 2 weeks for that transaction to happen, for me to send them the old one that wasn't working, them to verify that the new one was working that they were going to send me, and to send me out the new one. I'm happy to report that it looks like it works. Here is the proof that's in the pudding. I've got it set up now for visual use, and I'll talk about that in just a second. But here, let's see, moment of truth. All right, so I have to go down to the hand controller here, press enter, press enter. All right, it's squaring up. It does a little dance and it squares up, and you can see it aligns itself to home position. You can see it's vertical there, and it's nice here. In fact, it hasn't quite stopped moving. Once it stops moving, it will say that it's done. So I have it set up now for visual use. The reason why I did that is the first thing that's going to happen is this telescope is going to go into the dome, and when it goes in the dome, I've got to polar align it. So I'm going to use the eyepiece that's there and polar align it, and probably run through that a couple of times with 2-star line and then all-star polar alignment, and then go back and do a 2-star line, all-star polar alignment, until I can get it to where the cone error reads as close as I can to 0, until I can just say, all right, I'm happy with it, let's just stop it. And then once I do that polar alignment routine, I'm going to hook it up for use with the camera. So interesting are some side notes. Whenever I was setting this up this time, see this big heavy eyepiece that's on here? It does, if you get it on the right side, it will cause the diagonal to rotate. And if I let this go free, it would drop. See, I'm barely, it will rotate free. So if this retaining screw is not tight, it'll come loose. And even if it is tight, see, I've just tightened it by hand. I don't want to use any tools on there because it would scratch it all up, but it's kind of a thing that makes me nervous about it. There's not a set screw on there to lock it in place, so I'll have to be aware of that. Also, I noticed the eyepiece itself, you adjust it, as you can see, you turn it. As you turn it, it adjusts the eye cup. Well, if you get down to here, where it's 0, and turn it again, hey, it turns. Well, what's turning? It's actually turning the base of it there. And if you go the other way, if you tighten it and turn it, it turns the base here. And so what happened was I've tightened it up since then, but this collar was loose, and so it was rotating. So just some things to be aware of. Just tighten everything down before you go use it. Otherwise, you could wind up with an eyepiece on the ground, which would not be good. Another thing, whenever I first set this up, I noticed, see if I can get a look in here. This thumb screw is a toe saver, and it's for the back of this. Whenever you are adjusting the balance on the declination axis, you have to push the scope up, hold onto the handle, loosen the knobs on the other side here. I guess I could show it from this angle. Loosen these two knobs here and here, and then you very carefully slide it up to adjust, or back to adjust the balance. Well, most of the weight, as you can probably guess, is back here with the finder and the mirror and the big eyepiece. There's a lot of weight at the back. So it takes a lot of adjusting forward. And I actually, in order to get it to balance the first time, I had to take this toe saver off and then push it so far forward that it was basically at the end of the dovetail bar. It was all the way, I had already pushed it all the way up to get it to balance. I don't know if that's a design problem or not. I'm not sure that, I don't know. Maybe that's just to get it to work with other mounts as well. But it seems to me like having it at the limit is kind of, I don't know, iffy. So what I did was I got online and found ADM accessories, and ADM makes really good stuff. They make this little guy, and as you can see, it's a clamp. This angle shows it better. It's a clamp that if I adjust this knob, it'll let me slide the weight forward and backwards, and then it has a counterweight here that spins on this screw to be able to balance it. So what I did, I put the dovetail a little bit more, I gave it some more room at the back, and then attached this weight, and then it was much easier to balance. And what I did was, instead of loosening these screws to slide the entire tube up and down, I just got it to where it was a happy point or close to it, and then used the weight and then slid just the weight part up and down to balance. And I think that that's going to be much better, because whenever I set it up for photographic use and take off the thing that's on there now and put the camera on, I want to be able to just use that weight to adjust the balance. That way I'm not sliding the entire tube and all that stuff and loosening up the saddle. I don't really want to loosen that up. I would rather just leave it tight and then just loosen the weight and adjust the weight. So that gives me another degree of freedom to be able to adjust that and get it into balance. I think that that's a good call. And then in my next little video coming up, I'll show you the accessories that I'm going to have to use for photographic use. So until next time, this is Dave.